Injuries have been a big part of the baseball season, especially here in Chicago so far. The Cubs have 7 players on the DL, including 3 of their outfielders, while the White Sox are now worried that Jake Peavy might be going back on the DL again. And we went to our doctor, Charles Bush Joseph of Midwest Orthopedics at Rush, to ask him what's going on in baseball.
Injury rates really haven't changed dramatically in the last couple of years. Baseball is more of a marathon than a sprint, and so you see these, what we say, injuries of attrition, where guys start to wear down. You got a game every day, at least 5 if not 6 days a week typically, and so usually the recovery time for athletes from these minor injuries is not nearly what it should be, and these things start to build up on themselves.
Recently, the most talked about injury has been the Giants' Buster Posey, breaking his ankle in a home plate collision. It led to Oakland GM Billy Beane telling his catcher Kurt Suzuki to avoid any type of home plate collision.
That's a tough call, and those are baseball decisions. I think I know what AJ will do when the situation comes for him, though.
The other bizarre injury phenomenon this season has been the appendectomy. Matt Holliday and Adam Dunn both had the surgery earlier this season. The one injury that seems to be occurring over and over right now is the oblique strain. The White Sox know this firsthand. Mark Teahen hasn't played since he was replaced by Omar Vizquel in the 7th inning of a win on May 11th.
And I got to tell you, an oblique injury is a slow recovery. It's anywhere from a couple of days, but usually 10 days to 2 weeks before a guy can pick up and start swinging a bat. Obviously, when Jim Thome was here, Jim would have them essentially every other year, if not once a year. So these kind of muscle tendon injuries are lingering and more difficult to deal with.
According to Dr. Bush, who sits on the MLB Medical Advisory Board, baseball upgraded the bat specs for this year's season. The hope is that there will be less splintering that will lead to less broken bats, putting players in harm's way.
All the newer bats coming out now are a higher grade wood with better specifications, a lower porosity, so that the fracturing and splintering should be less than what it was in years previous.